Hey guys, welcome to the video for multiplying polynomials. Our essential question is, what are different methods for multiplying polynomials? So last time we learned how to multiply binomials, and we learned that by using the pull apart method. So we're going to review the pull apart method with number 1 real quick. So the pull apart method means I'm going to take my first binomial and I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. I'm going to have 5x and then I'll have plus 2. So I'm breaking it up into 2 parts. The next step of the pull apart method is to take your second binomial and write it twice. 3x plus 5 and then 3x plus 5. So basically we're distributing twice without, I am so sorry, let me silence my phone. You're distributing twice just without having to think too much about it. So after you write it twice, then you're going to distribute. 5x times 3x is going to be 15x squared. 5x times 5 is 25x. 2 times 3x is 6x, and then 2 times 5 is 10. All right. Now, after you do that, you always want to look for like terms, and you usually have like terms. So, you always want to start with the highest exponent, so 5x squared can't be simplified down, so that's going to stay the way it is. But 25x squared and 6x are like terms, and those are the next highest power, and that's going to give us 31x. And then lastly, 10 doesn't have any like terms, so that's just going to be plus 10 at the end. And so we are done simplifying our trinomial here. All right, so that was the method that we learned previously. When we go through the rest of these notes, we're going to do both methods. We're going to do the pull apart method, and then we're going to do our new method, which is the box method. The reason why we do both on like multiple problems is because you need to figure out, do you like the box method better or the pull apart method better? So there are options for you. So if you hate one and you like the other, then do that. You know, I'm not going to force you to do one over the other. The box method. So you're going to write out your terms with a box. So here I have a binomial times a binomial. So I'm going to draw a little box. And then I'm going to write my terms on the side of the box. So here I have 5x plus 2. So 5x plus 2 is going to be on one side of my box. And then 3x plus 5 is going to be on the other side of my box. And I'm actually going to make my box a different color. So here we go. Make her square. All right. So now I have this. So I've written both of my binomials down. So I have 5x plus 2 and 3x plus 5. One of them will always go on one side and the other one will go on the top. Once you do that, you're going to split it up into however many parts you have. So you have 4 parts here. You have 3x, you have 5, you have 5x, and you have 2. All right, now we're going to actually go in and multiply. So it's kind of like your multiplication table. Remember your times tables back in middle school? So you're going to do 5x times 3x, and that's going to give you 15x squared. Okay. Then you're going to do the next box. So you can either choose to do that one or this one. It does not really matter. But you're going to multiply whatever's on the outside of those, or whatever column it is. So I have 5 and I have 5x. So 5 times 5x is going to be 25x. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is 2 times 3x, which is 6x, because the 3x is here and the 2 is here. So again, it's just like your multiplication table. And then 2 times 5, which is 10. All right, at this point, you're going to look for your like terms. Well, I see 2 like terms. I see 25x and 6x. And normally, they're in a diagonal like this, so you shouldn't have to worry. So 15x squared is our highest exponent, so we're going to start there. And then I have a like term. I have 6x plus 25x, which is going to give me plus 31x, and then plus 10, because that doesn't have any like terms. Let's see if we got the same thing as the other way. Yeah, so we got the same thing regardless of whatever method we use. Now I show you 2 methods because it's up to you. What do you want to do? All right, so we're going to try this with number 2. Now number 2 is a little bit different because we have a binomial times a trinomial. But you're going to do the same thing you did last time. So we're going to do the pull apart method first. So the pull apart method, I'm going to take my binomial. So you always want to take the one with the smaller amount of terms, or the smallest amount of terms, 5x and plus 2. So 5x is going to be here. Plus 2 is going to be over there. I'm going to pull apart that. And then just like yesterday, I'm going to write this part out twice. 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. Okay, so same thing as yesterday, just like number 1, except now instead of a binomial, you now have a trinomial. All right, so after that step, you're going to distribute. 5x times 3x squared, 15x cubed. 5x times 5x is 25x. And 5x times 2 is 10x. Oops, that should be 25x squared, because 5x times 5x is 25x squared. My bad. Okay, next we're going to do 2 times 3x, which gives us 6x. 2 times 5x, which gives us 10x. 2 times 2, which gives us 4. All right, once I get to this step, I'm going to look for like terms. Oops. You always want to start with the highest exponent. So our highest exponent is 15x cubed, which is a 3. That doesn't have any like terms, so I'm going to leave that as is. The next highest exponent is a 2. And oh my gosh, I made the mistake again. That should be 2 times 3x squared, which is 6x squared. My bad. So I have 25x squared, and I have 6x squared. And those are like terms. When I add those together, I get 31x squared. Okay? And then I continue to always look for more like terms. Do I have anything else? Well, I have a 10x, and then I have another 10x. That's going to be 20x. And then lastly, my 4 there doesn't have any like terms, so that's just going to stay as is. And this would be my simplified expression. Now, let's try the second method, which is the box method. So, you always want to write out your term. So I have 5x plus 2. I'm going to have that on the side over there. And actually, I'll even do it in the same color. So let's do it in the same colors. 5x plus 2. Okay. And then I have, I'm going to write out the other one. I have 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. And I need to draw a box big enough to fit all of these in. So I have this box here. And again, you're going to make as many columns and as many rows as the amount of terms that you have. All right, now that I have my box set up, I'm going to go ahead and start multiplying, just like a multiplication table. 5x times 3x squared is 15x cubed. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. 3x squared times 2 is 6x squared. 2 times 5x is 10x. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So let's go ahead and look for some like terms. Okay, I see some like terms, and like I said, they're usually being like diagonals. So 6x squared and 25x squared. And then 10x squared and 10x. So those are like terms. So I want to start with the highest exponent, which is the 3. So 15x cubed is going to be all by itself. The next highest exponent is a 2. 6 plus 25 is going to be 31x squared. So those are like terms. 10x plus 10x is 20x. And then lastly, I have a 4 that doesn't have any like terms. And this would be my simplified expression. And if we look back to the first method, again, we have the same exact thing. You decide, do you want to do pull apart? Do you want to do box method? Some people like pull apart better, but some people like box method better. It's just whatever fits you best. All right, so we have 2 more examples here over box method and pull apart method, and then we're going to get into some word problems. So number 3, same process as earlier. I'm going to pull apart. So number 1, I'm going to pull apart these. I have 7x and I have 4, and I pull those apart. And then I'm going to write down the second expression, the trinomial, next to both. Oops, I forgot the plus sign in front of my 4. All right. Once I'm at this step, I'm going to go ahead and distribute. 7x times x squared is 7x cubed. Remember, distributing is multiplication. 7x times negative 2x is negative 14x squared. 7x times 3 is 21x. Okay, so I've distributed the first. Now I'm going to distribute the second. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x. 4 times 3 is 12. All right, so now you're going to start with your highest exponent, which is a 3, and you're going to look for like terms. 7x cubed has no like terms, so I'm just going to copy it down as is. All right, my next highest exponent is a 2. I have 14x squared, and I have 4x squared, and those will add up to be negative 10x squared, because negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10. Continuing to look on for like terms, I have 21x and negative 8. That's going to give me, I believe, 13x, positive 13x. And then lastly, I have a positive 12 that has no like terms as well. So this would be my simplified expression. I have a third degree polynomial. All right, so let's go ahead and use the box method with this one. Just like earlier, I'm going to copy down exactly what I have. So I have 7x plus 4 on that side. And then I have x squared minus 2x plus 3. So I wrote those all down. Now I'm going to make my box. Again, you're going to fit and make enough boxes to fit out every single thing. So 7x and 4 are just 2 terms, so I'm going to have 2 rows. And then x squared minus 2x plus 3 is 3 terms, so I'm going to have 3 columns. All right, let's begin. Like the multiplication table, 7x, right, we're going to multiply these two. So 7x times x squared is going to be 7x cubed. 7x times negative 2x is negative 14x squared. 7x times 3 is 21x. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x. 4 times 3 is 12. Now you're going to start with your highest exponent when you're simplifying and combining like terms, and your highest exponent is a 3, so 7x cubed. And then the next highest exponent I see is a 2, and it looks like these two are like terms. Like I said, it's usually going to be in your diagonals. This is going to be negative 10x squared. I see more like terms over here, negative 8x, and then 21x, which is going to give me 13x. And then 12 doesn't have any like terms, so that's just going to stay as is. So let's check to see if the other method got the same thing. Yep, so we got the same exact thing both times. So either way works. Number 4, you're going to choose the method that you like the best. So if you like box method, then do the box method. But if you like the pull apart method, then do the pull apart method. I'm going to choose to do the pull apart just because I like the pull apart method. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull apart my binomial, x and then a plus 2. Okay, next step, I'm going to take my trinomial and I'm going to write that twice. All right. The next step here is to distribute. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 2x is negative 2x squared. X times negative 9 is negative 9x. Then I have 2 times x squared, which is 2x squared. 2 times negative 2x, which is negative 4x. 2 times negative 9, which is negative 18. All right. You're going to start with your highest exponent like always, which is going to be 3. So we have x cubed all by itself. The next thing we're going to look for is our second highest exponent, which is 2. I have negative 2x squared and positive 2x squared. What happens here? Well, if I have a negative 2 and I add 2, I have 0 now. So these actually cancel each other out. Each other out. All right. So next like term, I have negative 9x and negative 4x. Which is going to be negative 13x. And then I have minus 18 because that doesn't have any like terms. And that is my simplified expression. So this is a third degree trinomial. All right, so again, if you like to see the box method with this one, I'll be happy to help you with that, but I'm not going to do it in this video. All right, moving on to word problems. Number 1. Number 1 is broken up into 2 parts, A and part B. Farmer Brown decided to build a new rectangular garden. He built it with a length of 3x minus 1 and a width of 4x plus 7. Okay, so let's draw this. Let's just draw a picture. So what kind of garden is this? It's a rectangular garden. So I'm going to make a rectangle. All right, so I have a rectangle there. All right, and he said he's built it with a length of 3x minus 1. So we have a length of 3x minus 1. And then we have a width of 4x plus 7. Okay, so we have a length of 3x minus 1 and a width of 4x plus 7. Part A, if he wants to build a fence, what is the total length of fence he needs to construct? So if we're looking for a fence, if we're going around the shape, so if we're going here, making a fence around our garden, do you think that's going to be perimeter or do you think that's going to be area? That's going to be perimeter. You're going to add up all the sides. So the formula for perimeter is P equals 2L plus 2W. So you have twice the length plus twice the width. Okay, so now we're actually going to use the formula. So we're going to plug in P equals 2. Okay, well, what's the length? We're going to substitute. Well, we said the length was 3x minus 1. So we're going to put 3x minus 1 here, plus 2 times whatever the width was, which is 4x plus 7. Okay, so I'm just substituting in my formula that I'm given. I'm plugging in the length and plugging in the width. Now after we get to this step, now we just do like normal. We distribute and combine like terms. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 7 is 14. All right, so after we get to, oops, did I make a mistake? No, I didn't. Okay, once we get to this step, you're going to look for like terms. Your highest exponent is a 1, which is x to the first. We have 6x, and we have positive 8x. Those added together give us 14x. Our next like term is negative 2 plus 14, and that's going to be 12. All right, so that means that we would have a perimeter of 14x plus 12. So that's going to be the total length of the fence to construct that. All right, part B, what is the area of the garden? Question mark. I forgot to put a question mark there. So if we're asked to find the area, what's the formula for area? Area is going to be length times width. Well, do I know what my length is? Yeah, it's 3x minus 1. Do I know what my width is? 4x plus 7. I know that, so I'm going to substitute that in. So area equals your length, which is 3x minus 1, and your width, which is 4x plus 7. Okay, I have my length and my width, and now I have to multiply. Area is multiplication. So this is like what you did earlier. You can choose to either pull apart or you can use the box method. It is your decision. Okay, I'm going to do the pull apart method. So we're going to have 3x and negative 1 separated. And then I'm going to have 4x plus 7, write that twice. Okay, once I get to this step, I'm now going to distribute. So 3x times 4x is going to be 12x squared. 3x times 7, which is 21x. Negative 1 times 4, which is going to be negative 4x. Oh, sorry, negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And the negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. All right, once I get to this step, I want to combine like terms. But I would start with the highest exponent, which is a 2, so 12x squared has no like terms. Next I check and I have 21x and negative 4x, and those are going to add up to be 17x. And then we just have minus 7 because that has no like terms. And this would be my area. So I would multiply an area, but I would add in my, for perimeter. So that is area and perimeter there. Our last word problem is that Farmer Brown built his garden with 3x squared plus 2x minus 7 flowers. Then some rabbits came and his garden only has x squared plus 3x plus 1 flowers. How many flowers did the rabbit destroy? All right, so let's say, for example, let's just forget about all these complicated polynomials and we just think for a second. Let's say I have a garden and I have 50 flowers. So 50 flowers. Now my garden only has 20 flowers. So how many flowers did the rabbits destroy? Well, then you would take 50 and you would take it and take away 20. So 50 minus 20, which gives me 30. What operation did I do there? I subtracted. So I take however much I started with minus how much I have left. So we're going to do the same thing here. This is how much we started with, 3x squared plus 2x minus 7. And then I need to subtract whatever I have left, which is x squared plus 3x plus 1. However, when I subtract, am I just subtracting the x squared only, just this term, or am I subtracting the entire amount? I'm subtracting the entire amount. So that means I would need parentheses. Now, the first set here, the first trinomial here doesn't have any parentheses, so I can rewrite this. Normally, if there were parentheses there, I'd be able to drop them because 1 times that doesn't change. However, over here, I technically have a negative 1. So I'd have to distribute in my negative sign, and that's going to change all of my signs. So negative times x squared, or negative 1 times x squared, is negative x squared. Negative times 3x is going to be negative 3x. And then negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. So I have the same trinomial, but all my signs are changed. Then I look for my like terms here. So I have 3x squared and then negative x squared. And that's going to give me 2x squared. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what color I want to do next. Blue. All right. Next like term would be 2x and 3x. That's going to give us negative 1x, or negative x. And then lastly, I have negative 7 minus 1, which gives us negative 8. So this would be my the amount of flowers that I have left, or not have left, how much the rabbits destroyed. All right, so those are your word problems. So those do require a little bit of thinking, but once you get them, they're basically the exact same thing that we have been doing. Number 2 is actually just subtracting polynomials, but it is a word problem, so we kind of just put it on this page as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in and ask.